Hey Scene Atlas viewers! Today we're taking a look at that amazing scene that glues you to the screen without a single bullet being fired. The opening scene from Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds. This 20-minute segment shows how dialogue can become a terrifying weapon. Come on, let's see how this tension is woven thread by thread. Our first section, setup, the wolf and the lamb. The scene begins on a peaceful French farm during World War II. Those sweet bird sounds and the rustling wind create a stark contrast with the arrival of Colonel Hans Landa, nicknamed the Jew Hunter. Landa seems very polite and cheerful at first, but we all sense the danger lurking beneath his facade. It's literally like a story of a wolf and a lamb. The wolf plays with the lamb to devour it, and this false calm really ramps up the tension. Landa's polite demeanor is very different from other Nazi soldiers. He's practically putting on a show to disarm farmer Perrier Lapidite. While Lapidite is just an ordinary farmer, Landa's politeness actually signals a greater disaster. As viewers, something inside us whispers, something's wrong. And we know Lapidite could fall into a trap at any moment. At the start of the scene, the camera shows the tranquil farm landscape and the peaceful life of Lapidite's family. But this peace is shattered by the distant sound of Landa's convoy approaching. The steadily approaching sound adds a silent but effective atmosphere of threat to the scene. As Landa enters the farmhouse, this contrast becomes even more pronounced. Landa praises his French, drinks his milk, and acts like a friendly guest. This false comfort makes the viewer instinctively feel that a catastrophe is imminent. Our second section, escalation, dialogue as a weapon. Tarantino uses dialogue in this scene not just for talking, but as a tool of psychological torture. Hans Landa's tactic consists of 3 steps. First, innocence. Landa starts the conversation by asking about the family and the farm, drinking milk, and making small talk. He wants Lapidite to relax and drop his guard. Second, a soft transition into the topic. The conversation slowly shifts to Nazis and Jews. Landa doesn't directly accuse Lapidite. Instead, he asks indirect questions like, "Why do you think I'm looking for Jews?" This pushes Lapidite to lie, and with each lie, he corners himself further. Third, the shock that comes with the metaphor. The most crucial part of the conversation is when Landa tells the rat and hawk metaphor. With this metaphor, Landa both confesses his own cruel nature and dehumanizes the Jews. This completely shatters Lapidite's resistance. Christoph Waltz's facial expressions and tone of voice perfectly show how much Landa enjoys this game. Every word literally stabs like a knife. Landa's metaphor isn't just a story, it's an attack on Lapidite's conscience and humanity. By describing the nature of rats and hawks, he argues that the Jews' hiding and fleeing instincts are animalistic. Thus, he emphasizes that Lapidite's decision to help them wasn't natural, but a moral choice. This is Landa's attempt to justify his own ideology, and it completely destroys Lapidite's psychological resistance. When this dialogue is combined with Waltz's extraordinary performance, every word from Landa feels like a dagger. Every word Landa speaks literally drills a hole in Lapidite's mind, and ultimately, it breaks down all of the farmer's defense mechanisms. Now we come to the third section, cinematography and sound design, the physicalization of tension. Tarantino shows how he manipulates camera and sound to heighten the tension in this scene. The long takes used throughout the scene trap us in that moment, unable to escape the tension. The camera focuses on Lapidite's terrified face, literally making us share his helplessness. When Landa tells his metaphor, the camera slides down from Lapidite's face to his feet, revealing the true source of the tension, the Jewish family hiding beneath the floor. This movement also highlights Landa's psychological superiority. There's no music in the scene at all, only the sound of the wind, the creaking door, and most importantly, the dripping sweat from Lapidite's forehead. These minimal sounds draw all our attention to the conversation and escalate the tension to its peak. As the scene progresses, we hear the sound of sweat dripping from Lapidite's face more distinctly. This sound is a reflection of the storm raging within Lapidite, making the viewer physically feel the fear he is experiencing. On the other hand, Landa's calm and cheerful voice further adds to this silent horror. This contrast brings the tension to a climax. Tarantino's complete exclusion of music in this scene is a conscious choice to highlight the power of dialogue and natural sounds. This way, the viewer can feel every word from Landa, every drop of sweat from Lapidite, and find the true source of the tension. Our fourth and final section, resolution, the explosion of tension. Landa completely breaks Lapidite's resistance with one final question. The helpless farmer, with tears in his eyes, points to the floor with a trembling finger. This action is the violent explosion of the tension built through dialogue. After Landa orders his soldiers to gun down the family hiding beneath the floor, Landa extends his hand to the farmer. This handshake symbolizes Lapradiet's indirect complicity in the slaughter of his own family. How brutal, right? This handshake isn't just a gesture, it's a symbol of Lapradiet's soul being completely taken over. Landa forces Lapradiet to shake his hand, formalizing his complicity and staining his conscience forever. Tarantino proves to us with this scene, sometimes the most dangerous moments are the quietest, and the most powerful weapon is a word. Because physical violence too can be a consequence that follows this psychological devastation. Tarantino's genius in this scene doesn't just make us watch a film, it also gives us a lesson on how human psychology and evil operate. Hans Landa, by using dialogue as a weapon, demonstrates how one can completely shatter a person's resistance and faith. That's all for today. We've deeply analyzed the opening scene of one of Tarantino's masterpieces. Which part of this analysis was most interesting to you? Let me know in the comments. Which legendary scene should we map out next? We're waiting for your suggestions. Don't forget to subscribe to Scene Atlas and turn on notifications.